Hi, welcome back. So, getting my memory back here. The last things we looked at were the boost maps. Okay, so I'm going to move on now. I'm going to find what we think pretty much usually is the trickiest maps to find, and that is the start of injection maps. And they're here. And there's several of them, as you can see. They all look pretty similar. Now what I'm going to do to make these maps is use my old friend up here, the support map selection. So I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to zoom in a bit like we did before up here. There, how's that? That looks alright. And now I'm going to pick our second one, just because I find that Winols picks it up better than the first one, and I don't know why. And I'm going to try and make the map using our support map aid. Let's see. Nope. There we go. It's got it the second time. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to extend it to the end of where the pattern obviously finishes there. And then again at the beginning to there. It looks about right to me, so I'm going to press K to make the map. Alright, so this is our SOI, one of our SOI maps. Okay, we have no axis. The reason we've got no axis is because, press delete there, is because there is no axis information in front of the map, so Winols doesn't know. Let me zoom back again. And also because they all share the same axis, hence why they're like this, one after the other after the other. So we need to find our axis in the same sort of way that we did before on the smoke map. So we need to look close by. We are 14 and 16. Now I think, if I remember right, it's been a while, but I think they're back here somewhere. But we could search via text. Going back up, so we're looking for a 14, up 14. And is there a 16 close by? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to put the hex dump cursor on the one straight after the 16. This is our 16. So I'm going to double click that. My data source is EEPROM from my hex dump cursor. And that looks good to me. So that's engine speed. RPM. Looking at that. And now we've got our 14, so I'll place it next to the 14. EEPROM, hex dump cursor, and that's going to be our IQ in milligrams per stroke, and our factor on this ECU for that is always 0.01. And I'd say we've gone and got our axis there. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so that's one of them made. Obviously I haven't corrected our data yet, we'll do that in a minute. So I can now make the others. Now because it's already set up to 14 by 16, I find it easier to stop that and now make our maps in text form. Now I could do it the same way as I did it before with the support map selection each time, but because it's set up already, as I said, I could just do it this way until I've got 14 by 16 like that, and then press K. And I could go ahead and do that for all of them and hope that I've got it right. By 16. 16. 14 by 16. And this looks like it's the last one. Let's have a look in 2D. Yeah, I think we've got that right there. Okay. Now, my axes are correct here, I believe. So, that being the case, I'm going to right click my map. I'm going to click Copy Map Properties. And I've got this set up. You can set this up however you want. I've got this set up to copy my axis because they share the same axis. So I'd like it copied. Okay. So I'm going to click OK. Make a note of how I've set it up if you want to do it the same way as me. And then I'm going to open up my next one and we're going to press Ctrl and V to paste. And there we go. That has now put the same axis on that one, and I'm going to go ahead and do that on all of them. Control V, Control V. Okay, have I done them all? Oh, there's one more there. There we go. Alright, so start of injection. SOI. So, what are we looking at? Well, when we talk about start of injection in ECU, we're talking about crankshaft degrees. In the same way as on a PD file, the duration tables are in crankshaft degrees. So, our numbers obviously look quite wrong at the moment, and we will need to change them. So if we're talking about crank degrees, then we used a formula for our factor in the duration that you'll need to remember, 0.023435. Now, those numbers look totally wrong to me. You can't start injecting that much before or that much after top dead center. And so what we need is a different factor. So what I do is put a minus there and then plus 78. That's just a number you need to know. It's out there on the internet, forums, yada yada. That I'm happy with. Now you could make it minus 78 and the standard 0.023435 there, but all that would do is give you a minus number on these numbers, and it's the same number with or without the minus, like this. Oh. They just make more sense in our minds if we set it up like that. So what are we looking at? Well, because of the way the engine works in the minus, the easiest way to just explain it is just that this number here is to start injecting this many degrees before top dead center, and it works in connection with our duration map. So in our example, let's say 2,500 RPM. At the moment our duration table goes to 50, so we'll use this table here, although they're all the same. Look. at 2,500 RPM at 50 milligrams per stroke, we want to start injecting 14 degrees before top dead center. And then this says that our duration is for 9 degrees of crank rotation. So if we start injecting 14 degrees before top dead center, and we have a duration of 9 degrees, then that means that our end of injection would be 5 degrees before top dead center. And that's how the duration and the start of injection tables sort of work together. I mean, you can do the maths yourself from there. At 5,000 RPM at full chat, 24 degrees of duration required, and start injecting 26 before top dead center, meaning our end is at 2 degrees before top dead center. It's worth noting that the SOI maps work from a table that is controlled by coolant temperature. So the last one, number 9, this is the one where the car's up to full temperature. But because they share an axis across them all, if you modify the axis, you will also be modifying the start of injection across all of the tables. So if you are going to change the axis, then it's probably best to modify all of the start of injection maps. There's also start of injection limiters, which are pretty much set to a couple of degrees more than this. So anything more than that, then you'd have to find the SOI limiter map, but that's for another time. So there we go. That's finding the start of injection maps and a basic info on how they work with our duration tables. I'll see you on the next one.